Hello everyone! We are going to discuss an important concept in labor economics, monopsony in the labor market. We'll explore what a monopsony is and how it affects workers and employers and its implications for policy. What is monopsony? A monopsony occurs when there is only one buyer in one market. In the context of labor markets, this means there is a single employer or dominant employer with significant market power over workers. This is similar to a monopoly, where there is only one seller, but in monopsony, the employer can set wages and employment conditions. What is the characteristics of monopsony? Key characteristics of monopsony include a limited number of employers, giving the dominant employer wage-setting power. Additionally, there are often barriers to job mobility, making it difficult for workers to switch jobs. To further elaborate, let's discuss the connection of monopsony and wage determination. In a monopsony, the employer's market power allows them to suppress wages below the competitive level. This also affects employment levels as the employer balances the cost of hiring additional workers with the wage rate they must pay. Now, what is the economic implications behind the concept of monopsony? Economic implications of monopsony include inefficiency in the labor market, as wages and employment levels are not optimal. This can lead to higher income inequality as workers are paid less than their marginal productivity.
This diagram illustrates the interaction between the demand for labor and supply of labor in a market. The horizontal axis represents the quantity of labor, while the vertical axis represents the wage rate. The labor demand curve is downward sloping, indicating that as wages decrease, employers are willing to hire more workers. Conversely, the labor supply curve is upward sloping, showing that a wage increase, more workers are willing to work. The point where these two curves intersect is the equilibrium point, marked as E. At this equilibrium wage rate, the quantity of labor demanded equals the quantity of labor supplied. If the wage rate is above the equilibrium, there will be a surplus of labor, leading to unemployment. Conversely, if the wage rate is below the equilibrium, there will be a shortage of labor, resulting in unfilled job positions. This diagram illustrates monopolistic wage setting in the labor market. The horizontal axis represents the quantity of labor, while the vertical axis represents the wage rate. The labor supply curve level supply of labor is upward sloping, showing that as wage increase, more workers are willing to work. The marginal cost of labor curve labeled MCL is stiffer lies above the supply curve. It represents the additional cost incurred by the employer for hiring one more worker. The labor demand curve labeled demand for labor or MRP is downward sloping, indicating that as a wage rate decrease, employers are willing to hire more workers. In a competitive market, equilibrium is reached at point E to C, where the demand for labor intersects of supply of labor. This results in a competitive wage rate of W to C and the quantity of labor of L to C. In a monopolistic market, the employer set wages based on the intersection of the marginal cost of labor and the labor demand curve, resulting in equilibrium at point E to M. Here, the wage rate is lower at W to M and the quantity of labor employed is reduced to L to M. This wage suppression, represented by the difference between W to C and W to M, highlights that monopolistic power to set wages below the competitive level, resulting in lower employment compared to a competitive market.
In conclusion, monopsony in the labor market is an important concept that highlights the power dynamics between employers and workers. Understanding these dynamics can inform better policies to promote fair wages and employment conditions. Thank you for your attention and I'm happy to take any questions.